a serpent so huge it coils around the entire world, a force of destruction foretold to bring ruin to the gods. This is no common beast. Today we explore a question that has troubled gods and mortals alike. Why is Jörmungandr so frightening? In this account we reveal the serpent's origins, the source of his menace, and the fate awaiting those who face him. Prepare to witness the rise of a creature beyond imagining. Jörmungandr wasn't merely born, he was trouble from the moment he entered the world. His father, Loki, was never known for following rules, and his mother, Angrboda, was a giantess from Jotunheim, a realm packed with beings the gods dreaded. Even among giants, their offspring were nightmarish. Jörmungandr had two notorious siblings. Fenrir was a wolf so strong that the gods resorted to trickery just to bind him, aware he would someday break free and slay Odin. Hel was half alive and half dead, ruling the underworld where she governed those lost to sickness or age. When the gods beheld Loki's children, they felt more than simple fear. They sensed a terrible fate looking back at them. These were not ordinary creatures. They were living signs of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. And among them, Jörmungandr was the most uncontrollable. Odin, ever the tactician, acted at once. Fenrir was bound in chains that could not be broken. Hel was sent away. But Jörmungandr was a different problem. How do you handle a serpent with no master, no chain, and no boundary? Odin hurled him into the ocean, convinced that would finish him. A creature without ground to slither on must die, correct? Wrong. Jörmungandr flourished. Beneath the waves he grew bigger and bigger and bigger. He feasted on countless sea creatures, his body stretching across the ocean floor. With each passing year, his strength only increased, until at last he reached a horrifying threshold. He had become so immense, so unbelievably colossal, that his own form wound itself around the entire world. He clenched his tail between his jaws, creating a perfect ring around Midgard, the realm of humanity. This was no simple growth spurt. It was far more ominous. In Norse lore, nothing occurs by chance. The gods hurled Jörmungandr into the sea to dispose of him, but by doing so, they sealed their own end. Jörmungandr was not simply expanding in size, he was biding his time. The instant he releases his tail, the second his coils loosen, Ragnarok begins. The gods dreaded what Loki's children would become, yet by trying to hold them back, they brought about their own downfall. They had sealed their fate. Among all the gods in Asgard, only one was truly fated to challenge Jörmungandr. Thor, the thunder god, the giant slayer, the guardian of gods and mortals alike. If any had a hope of halting the world serpent, it was him. Yet even Thor, mightiest of the gods, failed to slay Jörmungandr when the opportunity arose. Their rivalry took shape long before Ragnarok, in a meeting that might have altered fate. It began as a simple fishing expedition, but soon grew into something far darker. Thor journeyed to the giant's domain, and there he went to sea with a giant named Hymir. But Thor was not simply after fish, he sought a far larger catch. For bait, he used an ox's head, attaching it to the strongest fishing line he could manage. He tossed it into the sea, fully aware of what he was hoping to entice. Suddenly, there was a bite. The waters roiled, the waves swelled, and something surfaced from the depths. Jörmungandr. The serpent's body soared so high it darkened the sky, its scales shining like iron, its eyes alight with malice. He had taken the bait, but Thor was ready. Thor seized the line with both hands and yanked with all his might. The boat heaved wildly as god and beast fought against one another. Then Thor grasped Mjolnir. With a single blow of his hammer, he could have finished the serpent on the spot. He lifted it high, ready to deliver the blow. But before it fell, Hymir sliced the line. Some tales say the serpent struggled so fiercely that it snapped free on its own, while others argue Hymir cut the line out of terror or to save his boat. The serpent slammed into the waves, vanishing beneath the sea again. Thor, enraged, rounded on Hymir, his anger barely held in check. But it was already too late. The chance to defeat Jörmungandr before Ragnarok had vanished. Both Thor and the serpent understood this truth. Their conflict was far from over. It had only started. The final act begins with the trembling of all 9 realms. The sky rips open, the mighty wolf Fenrir escapes, and flames devour the land as Surtur advances. Then, out of the sea's depths, Jörmungandr emerges. He unwinds from Midgard, his tail at last free, and the ultimate storm comes with him. The ocean swells in his wake, devouring the shore, and he marches toward his fate, toward the one god who has always been his sworn foe, Thor. The thunder god stands face to face with the serpent at Vigrid, the hallowed battleground of the gods. This is no mere skirmish. This is a war between two powers forever linked by fate, the Stormbringer versus the World Serpent. Jörmungandr attacks first, lunging forward with bared fangs. Yet Thor moves faster. Mjolnir smashes into the serpent's skull, shaking the entire battleground. The ground cracks under their feet. The skies echo with thunder. Yet Jörmungandr remains upright. He writhes, his coils snapping in every direction, his fangs oozing a venom no deity could endure. Thor strikes again and again, each blow like lightning splitting the heavens. The conflict intensifies, shaking the core of all creation. At last, Thor delivers the decisive blow. Mjolnir destroys the serpent's skull. Jörmungandr convulses, his colossal form collapsing onto the battlefield, shaking the earth one last time. The sea rolls in turmoil, its waves like towering walls as the beast finally gives in. Thor stands victorious, yet triumph carries a cost. Jörmungandr's poison has already taken hold. Thor stumbles, his breaths turning shallow and strained. He forces one step, then another, the venom searing his insides. 9 steps, and that's all he can manage before he collapses. The thunder god, giant killer, and guardian of both gods and humans, dead. He has defeated his greatest foe, but the conflict has consumed them both. As Ragnarok roars on, the bodies of deity and serpent remain still, their destinies forever bound. Jörmungandr is more than a mere beast. He is a paradox, a being that upholds the world even as he is fated to ruin it. His gigantic coils surround Midgard, acting as a barrier between the familiar realm and the disorder outside. Yet that boundary won't last forever. It is a ticking clock. From the moment he coiled around the globe, his destiny was set. He is the serpent of inevitability, a power beyond negotiation or restraint. His clash with Thor was fated, not for triumph, but as a cosmic requirement. The world cannot begin anew until Jörmungandr perishes, and Thor must share that end. This idea of a world-spanning serpent isn't exclusive to Norse legends. In many cultures, serpents stand for ruin, rebirth, and the never-ending cycle of life. The Ouroboros, an ancient image of a serpent devouring its own tail, embodies unending loops of creation and destruction, death and renewal. Jörmungandr reflects this notion exactly. In Hindu lore, the cosmic serpent Anantashesha encircles the universe, symbolizing infinity and balance. In Mesoamerican stories, the feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl acts as both creator and catalyst for change, echoing Jörmungandr's part in ending one era so a new one can arise. Jörmungandr stands for more than mere destruction. He represents the unavoidable destiny that rules gods and mortals alike. His existence reminds us that even the strongest cannot outrun what is meant to be. In the end, the serpent always returns. So why does Jörmungandr inspire such dread? It's not merely his unimaginable size or his deadly venom. It's not even how he emerges from the deep, carrying the final storm in his wake. It's not even his unavoidable duel with Thor, though that alone would grant him infamy. He is terrifying because he cannot be halted. The gods knew he was there. They watched him grow. They understood what lay ahead, and yet they were helpless to alter the course. From the instant Odin threw him into the sea, the conclusion was set. He is the cosmic countdown, the unstoppable cycle of order dissolving into chaos. His coils keep the world intact, yet the moment he lets go of his tail, all things come undone. Facing Jörmungandr, no true triumph ever existed, only the unyielding outcome.